Hello, everybody. There we go. It's been a little while since I've done a premiere before one of these lives, but everybody who stopped by for the premiere, thanks a million for coming by and watching me dig and try to make sense of all of that. Power shifting is fun. When I was sitting in that little S10 trying to explain that, it just brought back every memory I have of doing that. It's just fun. Anyway, who all we got in here? Unfinished project up. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming back on over here. Colleen Tebow. Yeah, I had a 68 satellite that had the same thing. The reverse gear was just the linkage jammed up through the floorboard. As a matter of fact, it was all the linkages. It was a 3 on the tree car, and well, they decided to make it into a floor shift the hard way, and it looked like he used an axe to cut holes in the hump. That poor car. Rabid Transit Garage. Thanks for coming in, man. And like I was saying earlier, that was a great live you and Jay did last night. I got a big old kick at that. And don't feel bad about that pulley, that puller. I've done that too. The multi-use ones that you can use for install or removal, yeah, they're just confusing, and then when you figure it out, you just want to kick yourself in the teeth for it. You guys did a great job, though. Dean Stevenson, great to see you, man. I love that 4 p.m. thing you got going. Everybody, if you haven't checked out Dean's little 4 p.m. segments, go check them out. It kind of opens your eyes a little bit to our good friend down there in New Zealand, our friendly Kiwi. Philip III, great to see you, man. Down there in sunny Florida, in the Panhandle where the real Floridans live, right? JD's Vintage. Oh, man. That comment that you left me on that last video, which is kind of the same video I just did, I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, I laughed for a good half hour on that one. You got me good. Sticking in reverse, yeah. Oh, good one, man. Yeah, a standard stick, but a standard transmission. I still call it a standard. I know it's called a manual, and we used to call them standards because they used to be standard equipment. Now an automatic is standard equipment. I still call a manual a standard because everything should be manual. Landing Custom Classics. What's going on, Cousin Mike? Good to see you. I got to go back up to Dad's. I guess he had another tree come up on the back side of the shop. Oh, I got to go start the chainsaw and cut another tree. It's just a sapling that it's coming up and hitting the eave on his shop. So I'll go over and cut another one. How much do you have for that shell of a 55? I've got the nose and what you see there. But what I was going to do with that is I've got a 57 that's that white one you see every once in a while in my videos. And I was going to use that and to build that one, if that makes sense. Actually, what I was kind of thinking about doing, because that's a town wagon, I was thinking about cutting the top off of it and using that body part there for the bed to make a pickup, make a super short pickup out of it, fleet side pickup. Kind of had the idea to build a Dodge Cameo. The guy that used to own the auto parts here in our sleepy little town, he had a 56. No, it was a 55 Chevy Cameo. And I just love the look of that little truck. And I got to looking at that Dodge, and I think that would look good that way. And I got to do something with that 318 anyway, so I'm surely not going to put that 318 down in that little Dart to give my granddaughter. That's too much for her. I'll put an automatic in that with that little slant 6, and she can't hurt that. It was fun. It was way too late, I think, though. Yeah, I stuck with you guys. I think I'm coming down with another spring cold. The wife brought back a present from Oregon when she was working in Oregon last week, and I'm pretty sure she gave me a cold. So I can tell because every time I start to come down with one, I can't sleep. So you guys supplied me with some pretty good entertainment there while I was sucking down the NyQuil. Auto Salvage Outlaws, great seeing you, man. I got your message, and I got it logged into the phone again. So we got you covered. Where the alligators grow so big. But the fishing's pretty good. That section of Florida is not too bad because you don't have all the hubbub and people of the southern tip there. Luckily, it dried up a little before we got all this wind. Otherwise, we'd have tree issues here. Oh, Lord. That's what you're saying. You're getting a little pounded down there. Taking a break from the mystery small block to make an engine stand. I seen that for something rat rod for another channel. But you're taking the weekend off. Everybody needs to sit back and stick their feet up, right? Oh, and I almost forgot here. There we go. Next week, next Sunday, that's it. That's the 21st, right? At between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on with Buck Does It on John Wilburn's channel, and we're going to do another creators workshop. If any of you are interested on how to maybe help your channel along, maybe try to get your subs, or just how to improve your channel. And I know John hates me saying this, but I want to see you all monetized. Even though you only need 500 subs to join, well, not join, but to compete at the No Name Nationals in Sikeston, Missouri. I like to see all of you guys push it all the way to 1,000 and get monetized. Get paid for your stuff. I'm a big proponent of that. Not saying you're going to make $1 million. That's up to you. But hey, you make a $5 here, $20 there. It's $5 or $20 that you didn't have yesterday. So take advantage of it. But if you're interested in that, next Sunday, I'll be on just a little bit earlier than my normal live here. And we'll go over some of the tips and tricks that I learned on how to get my channel busted up and going. A lot of it is what Roadkill up here, Buzz at Roadkill, taught us. And I'll just be more than happy to pass all that on to you guys. And then I'll, after John's live is over with, then I'll go ahead and keep it going on here if you want. Invite y'all in. Anybody who wants to ask questions or whatever, I'll do anything I can to help you. channel? What channel? I have a channel. Channel 11. Or no, wait, that was channel 9. Trying to remember the old CB channel, the emergency one. Back in the old days when we were cruising. I was the last generation that actually did that. Cruise nights every Friday and Saturday. And then you find somebody you want to line up against, and well, we'd choose Crowley and Hit. Just everybody meet out there, or what was the other? Or no, it was Crowley and First, or if that was busy, or too many people there, then we'd go up to what one was that? It was Hit Road and just past York Road. Anyway, there were nice flat, nice asphalt, and the mailbox, the first mailbox you come to, that's 1/4 mile. And the only thing you could hit if something bad happened was a fence and a ditch and a field. So but sometimes some guys that get on to continue that story off, sometimes some guys that get on the emergency channel on the CB, because everybody then had CBs, and you announce that you was going to Beach's Corner to do it, which is on the other side. We thought we were so smart. Yeah, cops ain't that dumb. But all that time, nobody ever got hurt. Like I said, the worst thing that ever happened was a truck did go get a little sideways, and we had to fix that farmer's fence out there. That was the only bad thing that ever happened. That's true about this part of Florida. I call it the good part. I think every state's got that. Here in Idaho, Idaho's a good place as long as you stay out of Ada County. That's where Boise is the capital. He needed a better fence anyway. Oh yeah, and he got one too. Yeah, it was pretty rotted out. Didn't even hardly hurt the pickup. The barbed wire hurt the pickup more than the fence posts did. Sidewinder is actually my old CB handle. Oh, way cool. I miss those days. I really, really do miss those days. Things were just a whole lot of simple. No, not yet. There have been some soft winds in the past few days, but all is well now. Cool. Your uncle was a fireman, so you grew up with roading CBs. Yeah, my uncle was a long haul trucker. In fact, a lot of my dad's friends were long haulers. And we used them on the ranch too. At the ranch house, you had the main CB, and then out all the pickups and everybody, tractors, balers, all of that stuff had a CB in them. And that's how you could communicate back in them days. Had a great big long CB antenna that come off the house. That was back when my grandparents were ranching out of Howe, Idaho. you ever watched the TV series Mountain Men, it was I think it was kind of a short-lived segment on the History Channel. Anyway, when they go do their mountain lion hunt, to the mountain men guys there, the old man from Montana comes down to his brother's place. I can show you where he lives. His brother in Howell, Idaho. He didn't live very far away from where my grandparents used to ranch. Yep, CCI Blount and RCBS. If you have any reloading stuff, the big green press, yep, that's all made in Lewiston, Idaho. Beautiful up there. That's in the central part of Idaho, where there's no roads. Literally, no roads. No motorized vehicles, no nothing. And Lewiston is it's right where the Salmon River joins in with the Snake, right? Or is it, yeah, or is that Orofino? No, that is Lewiston. And it's at the top of Hell's Canyon. You ever go there, take a jet boat through Hell's Canyon. That is, yeah, that's fun. And if you can find him, guy named Tony Masters. He runs a jet boat out of Lewiston. Takes you all the way down to Riggins. Well, he's based out of Lewiston, but he'll take you all the way down to Riggins, which is at the end of Hell's Canyon. And then he'll boat you all the way back up. As some of his guides, they're like a 2-day. And he takes you sturgeon fishing too, if you want, through there. You catch 12, 14 foot of white sturgeon out of that canyon. But anyway, if you find him, like I said, his name is Tony Masters. I used to work with him, and he'll give you a good ride through that canyon. It's going good, Denson, with rentals. How about yourself? Then just south of us in Utah, that's where Barnes ammunition is all made. There for a long time, they were a division of CCI. And Pocatello, Idaho. All of it, that's right where, it's not 84, but it's right where 1580, I can't remember the name. I should know the name of the interstate. Anyways, the interstate takes off from there and goes all the way to Portland. But right as you take that interchange and head out towards Boise, Portland, and you look up to the left-hand side there, you'll see a whole bunch of factories, old warehouses, and the town of Pocatello right by the railroad tracks. That used to be the federal munitions plant. They made all hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of rounds there. A lot of the bullets made for World War II came out of Pocatello, Idaho. And those old factories are still there. They're all vacant. When it blows, there will be semis laying on the sides all down the interstates. Yeah, the CB radio in your car with the spring-loaded antenna. Was it the magnetic one? I shut the trunk and the anti smacked me in the face. I got bent the anti. That's a good one. I remember some of those magnetic ones. Yeah, the same thing. But you get going, and sometimes they get to whipping and boop, bounce right off, rip themselves off the trunk. Then you're dragging them on the road. Yeah. Only 20-mile-an-hour winds here in northern Arizona today. You're over there real close to Tony's hot rod garage. Oh, and Terry, like I said, you beat me to the punch with that video. I just premiered it out. Same thing that you was talking about. Yeah, you can take a look and see how bad I butchered it. Made the video for Barry at Station Road Rat Rods. You do pretty much the same thing. Making something out of junk. That is my favorite thing to do. Rat rods are they're just liberating. Especially after you've worked in restoration for a little while and you deal with the numbers matching crowd, and it's so frustrating. Your hands are always tied behind your back. Then you go home and you build a rat rod, and it's just liberating. Where does the wind come from? Where does it go? I know where it comes from, where it goes, because Utah sucks and Montana blows. Yeah, that's the old saying here. That's why the wind blows so hard in Idaho. Utah sucks and Montana blows. Even though most of our wind comes from Oregon. Kevin's Rust, what's going on? You're just a little bit south of me. Actually, we're really good weather today. We hit 70. Oh, what was it? 71, 72 today? Finally got into the 70s. But I think did I? Oh, man. I tell you, I was lazy. I'll post up the invite here again. Anybody wants to hop on in? There we go. And we'll pin it up. There. That way I don't forget. Yeah, like any other Sunday, just hit that little button up there and climb on in here if you want. Sure beats the heck out of typing. The only thing keeping Texas from going into the Gulf of Mexico is because Oklahoma sucks. That's a good one. Oh, Terry, you hush your mouth because it's probably true. Lord knows the weather here can change in a heartbeat. needs to stop blowing. Got my boat ready today. Oh, sweet. Yeah, the wind has been kind of crazy. It'll die down to nothing. So I'll go out there and get my burn pile up and ready to go. And then it'll start blowing again. Well, how about that? How the heck are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How you guys doing?
Not too
I'm
bad.
just sitting here on the porch, just enjoying a nice evening here in Northwest Florida.
All
taking
right.
a day off.
Taking a break from that old Mystery 3 small block, huh?
Yeah. Still just sitting out here in the yard. Well, it's hanging from an oak tree.
Hey, you're bona fide now.
That's how we do it here in the deep south.
Leave it up there long enough, you can put your mailbox on it.
Yeah, exactly. They can just stick the mail right in the intake, Yeah, I just want to take advantage of this opportunity to, you invite people to come on the air for a minute and just say hello and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, let me spin the camera around and see if you can see out there in the yard at all.
You got a nice place there, man. Those trees.
Well,
look
I'll
really
tell you
good
what.
up there.
The prettiest part of it is when you come in the driveway. The driveway is about 400 feet long, and there's a little bend in the driveway. Once you get around that bend, then you can finally see up to the house in the front yard. I got this giant oak tree. It's called a live oak, and those things grow massive. And I'm not kidding you. This oak tree that I got here is so old that I'll bet Fernando Cortez pissed on that tree.
That's a good one.
So, it's huge. I'll have to send you a picture of it sometime. So,
yeah, that's nice though. All those trees out there, you're nice and quiet.
yeah. I used to brag because I'm also sitting on 14 and a half acres. And I would brag to people that I could stand on my front porch and shoot a bullet in any direction and it won't leave the property. It will hit a tree. Until one day I hit the broadside of the neighbor lady's barn. So I quit saying that.
So you
listen,
always
I'll tell you what, I just wanted to. I'm sorry?
You always lived in Florida?
I've been here about the last 20 years. Originally, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I moved down this way. My mother lived down this way, and I would come down and visit her, and I seen all this construction going on, and that's what I do. I did construction work. So I figured, no sense in freezing my tail off in Chicago doing it. I can come down here in sunny, warm Florida and do that, So, and yeah, I've been down here doing that for years now. And I'm retired now, so I just sit around and tinker and make things, I make smoker grills out of old water heaters and propane tanks and, just whatever a guy can do with a welder and a grinder, I'm doing it. So
that's the best thing about this kind of stuff. As long as you got a little bit of the trade in you, you will always stay busy.
Yeah.
And a lot of us doing what you want to do.
Yeah. And you talking, what was it last week about some of that lumber felling that you used to do? Well, geez, that's just part of regular maintenance around here. You got to keep trees. I've taken down so many trees because I was afraid the hurricanes would blow the tree down on top of the house, Yeah. So I'd have to fell trees and big oak trees too, big things, 75, 100 feet tall. So.
You have any?
Yeah, I just thought I'd stop in for. I'm sorry.
You got any swamp cypress around you? Do you have any of
on the backside of the property? See, I live on the. I live on the downslope of a hill. And when you get to the bottom of that hill, that's where all the slushy, marshy, kind of stuff is. And it's just off my property off the back side of the property onto somebody else's property where the lowland is and all the swampiness is. And that's where you get all them cypress growing, you know?
They've got a beautiful grain in them.
Yeah.
Doing like mantles and stuff like that, coffee tables.
Yeah.
They're a beautiful wood for that.
But they're a protected species now. You can't cut them down.
Oh, are they? Oh,
yeah.
What?
And the only thing you can do is if one falls like down in a creek or a river, you can haul it out after it's dead and fallen, but you can't go cutting one down. Same with this live oak that I have here. They have a law called the Heritage Live Oak, and after a live oak is over 36 inches in diameter, it's illegal to cut it down. So,
well, like you said, Hernando Cortez probably peed on that one.
Took a whiz on that tree. You know, it's so old. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd stop in for a minute and say hello, and I'm going to let you go now, okay?
You're more than welcome anytime, man. Great seeing you.
Well, we'll see you probably next week, huh?
Yeah, we'll keep it right on rolling.
And I gotta check out this. I gotta check out this John Wilburn thing that you was talking about too, because I keep hearing the name and I don't know the guy, so I gotta look him up.
And if one of my mods wants to put up a link to his channel there, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, good old Philip. Here's another channel I just stumbled on by accident, and boy, heck of a cool guy. I love this YouTube for that. You still thinking about them old packs down there? Yeah, the 4750s. Packard actually is one of the few that kept building cars all the way through the war, too. You can get a 42 and a 43 Packard, but you can't get any others. But they were very limited run, and they all look like a 41. Justin Hill, great to see you, man. Enjoying the warm weather? Oh, yeah, if the wife wouldn't have given me her cold. Oh, well, I think I gave her one earlier, so it's payback time, I guess. '51 fit through 54 pack. Oh, yeah, those are 54. That was the last year that Packard was Packard, right? When did they make the deal with the devil? When they merged with Studebaker. And then Packard just kind of, it was Packard by badge only. They were just basically became a rebranded Studebaker. I know 55 was that way. Packards, good Lord. 54 continued until 56. Yeah, that's right. Although I do like the taillights on the Packard better than the Studebaker. Stopped completely in 58. I know their V8, a lot of people even call the Studebaker V8 the Packard V8 because they look almost identical to each other. But that's pretty much what Studebaker bought them for. was to dismantle them and get their engines. '57 and '58, yeah, they were almost right down identical to each other. And then Studebaker just totally phased them out, which is really weird because Packard actually wasn't doing too bad sales wise. It was Studebaker that was in trouble. But goodness gracious, by that time, pretty much all the independents were getting absorbed. 352 Packard and a 57 Golden Hawk. Oh, that is my favorite car. Right there. And it is too. It's classified as the world's first muscle car, but they like to argue about it because they classify the Hawk more like a Corvette. But I don't know. I agree that it's the first muscle car. And that thing would move. That thing would flat move. And just a beautiful looking car. It was like a sports car with fins on it. Oh, a Clipper? Huh. Got those really tall headlight buckets. Packard was losing money hand over fist. I thought Packard was in better shape, though. Huh. That they should have. If they just would have done that, they would have maintained for a lot longer. But I don't think they liked old Romney. That's a bit of trivia. Old Mitt Romney, that was his dad, AMC Motors. His dad really was a car guy. He owned American Motors. Yeah, yeah, they're a good looking car. Where did you find a '57 Packard at? You've been holding out on me there, cousin Mike. Of course, he knows that those are the years I don't care what it is. I like them all. In fact, I would love to find 57, 58 Nash Metropolitan. I would love to find one of those little things. I can't complain. You throw me a bone here and there, and a few of them bones has got a little meat on them, so I don't complain one bit there, cousin Mike. Hey, Buster, what's going on? Just seen your premiere. I just caught the tail end of it there, but yeah, not too bad. I'll think about a name. Except a Bonnie. That, like I was saying earlier, that's a car that you really gotta like that car. And I love Studebakers. I got one, and if I can beat you to it, I might have two more. I used to know where there was like 6 of those Metropolitans. Mountain Home, huh? Out at your old yard out there. I think it was either a Mountain Home or the Gooding yard. He had like a whole collection of them out there. But last I heard, that yard in Gooding, I think L&M Auto bought that. That's a big classic junkyard. In fact, you see their ad all the time. Just outside of Boise, little town of Weiser. They were pretty famous for going around here and buying up all the old classic junkyards, and he'd move them all the good stuff. He'd move to his yard down there, and it's huge, and he ships all over the world. Doc Art, what's going on? Great to see you. Again, I absolutely love that project you got going with Kiwi and Uncle Tony. Big Richard, that is one cool project. And Large Marge and that whole thing, collaboration you guys got going. Good stuff, man. And watching the 3 of you guys out at the drag strip. Oh, that is just too cool. You guys are having too much fun. Fiberglass wings on the Golden Hawk was the lead into the Avani. In fact, to make it my favorite car, that you take that 57 Golden Hawk and take a 62 Gran Turismo Hawk, the GT Hawk. You take the drivetrain out of that 61 or 62, the one with the supercharger on it and the posi rear end, and you stick that all in the 57. Perfect combination. That would be a car that checked every box for me. Even the dash in them is just, it's perfect. I used to think it was an original Thunderbird, and then I sat in one of those original Thunderbirds. It takes a special kind of person to be able to fit in one of those little things. Just say no to the Metro. The one in Mountain Home, think he died and they cleaned them all out. Oh, I'll bet you L&M did get that one then. Or no, they sold that all out private. I remember when that happened. They were selling 55, 56, Tri-Fi Chevys, $1,500. And he had a plethora of them. I know, Blaine Hillman got 2 of them. Editing a video now. Oh, sweet, Doc. I look forward to seeing it. I also know there was a nice 62. Oh, double headlight. Pickup for $700. A 62, huh? That might have a poly in it. Not sure yet? Oh, on whether you got your package yet from Busted Radio? The mail here in Idaho Takes a little while. I think our postal service is still running on the Pony Express system. Fun. Finishing replacing a coil under the intake. Oh, done just as a thunderstorm is coming through. Man, is it thrashing out there right now. Oh, Lord. A coil underneath the intake. Yeah, that just does not sound any fun at all. Is it a Ford? That crazy wrap over upper plenum intake on the little 302 Windsor, 5-liter Windsors. Hey, unfinished project. Hello, BareRose. Good to see you, old McDonald. Still see a bunch online about the mountain home yard. It was a huge yard. Every once in a while I hear about the salmon yard too, but that one that one's picked clean through. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think they're still on the Pony Express system because you're exactly right. For some reason, everything's got to go through Salt Lake. And Mountain Home it's right in the desert. Hardcore desert. Well, it's halfway between here and Boise, down in the bottom of the state. Good antelope hunting down around there. But the military owns a whole bunch of that place. I think the Air Force Base is still there, isn't it, Mike? Or is it an air reserve now? They've talked about closing that base down quite a few times and moving everything to Gowan and Boise. And for a long time, the Army was that's where they trained Apache pilots out of, was Mountain Home, Idaho. You go out there in the desert and shoot all kinds of stuff, and you ain't gonna hurt nothing. Is that what it is? Mountain Home is still Air Force, and yeah, the Guard is heavy out of Boise. Yeah, Gowan, something like that. Which is right there at it's the same, almost the same as the public airport in Boise. Did they make any factory roller cam 460s? The last fuelies, fuel injected ones. but they're tall deck, very tall deck. But really, I've never had any problem with the flat tappet in a 460. They have flat tanks in the desert that are welded together junk tanks and all kinds of stuff out there. I remember when they had them out by the butte by us. And those, like I was telling you earlier about those munition factories in Pocatello, they would roll them up on train cars. A lot of the turrets and stuff they use on the battleships, they would set them on train cars and roll them out of Pocatello there and test those big battleship turret cannons. And they would shoot them clear across the desert here and hit the butte. That's right. You can see it just west of me. You go out there and you can still see the craters where those big old battleship guns were taking pot shots at the mountain out there. That was way back. Like I said, World War II years. Stuff before my dad was even born. Hey, bad attitude, Blake C10. What's going on? Great to see you, man. I never did much around Mountain Home there. We used to go up by Bennett Mountain when you could actually draw the tag to go hunt on Bennett. Bennett Mountain is kind of our trophy mule deer area, and it's right outside of Mountain Home there on the north side, though. I shot a short video of the oak tree entitled it BareRose. Oh, sweet. I'll check it out. And it'll notify me so I won't forget. I moved 3 hours north of Selfridge and now in the middle of nowhere, but can still see what color eyes the pilots of those A-10s have as they're flying over my new house, huh? Yeah, those A-10s, oh, they are one scary looking aircraft. I used to always say that, yeah, the reason the engines are hanging off the tail like that is because they said, I want an airplane with as many ordnance as possible. And they stuck all those ordinances on there and went, oh, crap, we forgot the engines. Let's just stick them here. Weird looking airplane, but by golly, that thing is brutal. Exactly. Jim's, if it ain't broke, fix it. What's going on? Great to see you, Jim. People used to have those huge shells in their yards, then one day they were gone. You talking about those old Navy shells? We used to go out there and collect dummy bombs too. I know, that sounds crazy, huh? Driving around in the desert as teenagers, hunting jackrabbits and bringing home Navy test bombs. They were just empty bombs that they would drop out there. Nothing in them. They're just empty. But we'd throw them in the back of the pickup and bring them home. They were cool looking. There's a couple of times we got run off of there, though. I don't know if it was the site, the nuclear site security, or it was the Navy, one of the two, that would chase us out of there. Be out there chasing jackrabbits and badgers and everything else out on them lava beds, and all of a sudden a helicopter comes up and a guy on a loudspeaker telling you, yeah, you're in the wrong spot. Very true there. I have F-35s flying overhead all the time. Those things are loud. Loudest one I ever heard was the F-4, the old flying brick. Good Lord, them things are loud. That and a Huey chopper. There's definite reason they call it a chopper, because it just chops its way through the air. Yeah, Cousin Mike can know. That's what he did in the Air Force. All duct taped up to me with that ball peen hammer. I got the poo on me. I love that movie. I think they were made illegal to have, probably. Do you remember the old Army surplus that was down by the river in Otter Falls? Old Dana Christensen, he's the one who owns that, still owns it now, that even the one that's out by the freeway now, where they rebuilt it. And the old one down by the river, he used to have those hanging off the ceiling in there. He had quite a few of them and all kinds of other stuff. That was a good Army surplus when it was in the old Quonset building. Now you go in there and there's very little Army Navy surplus in there. It's mostly Cabela's leftovers. And the same prices. So I quit going to the Army Navy. B1s are super loud. We have them in Ellsworth. The Corsair F4U. Good Lord. The reason those wings were bent like that is because that prop was so big. Those things are wicked. And they had so much torque. You had to really work the rudder on them because they would torque over just from the engine. That great big rotored, radial, not rotored, radial. Eric, what's going on? Great to see you. I'm not the slightest familiar with what you guys are talking about, so I'll sneak in here and saying hi. No problem. We're great to see you, man. Wendy English, also good to see you. Yeah, never know what we're going to talk about on here on any given Sunday. That was a good movie too. On any given Sunday. What was that? Like a documentary movie? Came out in the theaters. It was all about racing. I remember it come out in the late 70s, early 80s, about the same time as that movie Dirt. I loved that movie Dirt. Same thing. It was like a documentary on all the off-road racing. So you had like the Mint series on there. You had the Baja. I actually remember going to the drive-in and watching them. And I think they played back to back. There are videos on the internet on how to fly the F4Us. They're kind of a rare bird now. We used them for a while. The Marines took over them. And then they used them for ground support in Korea. I like the P-51 Mustang too. Good Lord, that thing actually had a long service life. Very, very good friend of our the family. He had a P-50 P-51A, the trainer one. So it actually had a passenger seat. You sat, you know, in line with each other. It was a training one. He used to fly it all over. We actually have a Dakota DC-3 here at our local airport. Oh, sweet. There's a ton of stuff out at the old sugar factory. Yeah, that's all Dana. He bought that whole, well, it was a National Guard armory there for a while. That they just stored all their stuff in there. When they auctioned it off, Dana bought the whole shebang. He had crates and crates and crates of M1 Grands still in the Coslin, still in the packs. At that time, you could pick them up for about $100. Should have bought a bunch of them, but I didn't. When he was selling them, nobody really wanted them. Now they're worth quite a bit of money. If it burns up them dinosaurs, you betcha. Collins Foundation restores and flies World War II planes. They have tanks too, a couple of museums. Yeah, here we got the Warbirds. They're down in Nampa, Idaho, just a little bit past Boise. And they've got a shop in Idaho Falls at the airport out there, the Red Baron barn, and they restore a lot there. Ever been to the Plain Boneyard at Gray Bull, Wyoming? I haven't, but I've heard of it. I do pretty much everything I possibly can to stay out of Wyoming, though. It's not a bad place. Well, it depends on where you are. If you're by the mountains, Montana or Wyoming's not a bad place. But anywhere in the Badlands, oh, I used to go to the American Heritage Museum in Massachusetts. Oh, way cool. Yeah, the old Flying Tiger, the P-40. That it is. Even just the theme of it, it just, oh yeah. That's what I was setting my 48 up for. I had a little 48 Ford pickup that had a 46 nose, 46 coupe front fenders on it and nose piece. And I was going for that World War II fighter plane look on it. Got it pretty close to being done. And the guy come along and just offered me too much money for it. I couldn't say no. He'd been hounding me for quite a while. He really wanted that rat rod. And we were laughing and joking in the shop, and he said, yeah, or I mentioned to him, like I tell everybody, everything I got's for sale. And he laughed. He said, yeah, except for that rat rod over there. And I said, no, it's for sale too. And he threw a number, and my jaw hit the floor, and I said, you sure? He said, yeah. Bring a trailer then. I loaded it up for him. I'm too nice of a guy because I give him every opportunity to walk out of on it. You sure you want to give this much for it? Yeah, he didn't have it long and he sold it. He didn't even finish it. He ended up selling it. I wonder who's got it now. I wonder if they ever did finish it. My 55 Oshkosh Wrecker is from the Grumman Air Force Base in Long Island. Oh, sweet. Rivet aluminum over your rust holes and paint it olive drab. On that one, because a 48 is so thick of steel, I just took a cutoff blade and I didn't cut through it, but I ground a groove to make it look like it was plated like that. And then I was in the process of airbrushing the rivets on. I was doing that all over on it to make it look like, make it look like an airplane. Took conduit and, well, on a 48. Well, I think I got pictures of it. Maybe I can try some of this screen share stuff. Let's see what happens. I'll probably get lost in here though, trying to find these dang pictures. Somewheres I got pictures of it. I did a video on it too. Is that it? You know, one of these days I had to classify all this stuff up and put it in files where I can find it. Where are those pictures of that rat rod? Yeah. Nope. Like I said, I'll probably get lost in here. Pictures. Oh, I know it's not in there. No. Come on. I'm going to give this a couple more seconds here, and then I'll say screw it. Ah, I got them somewheres. Let's give this a shot. Present. Share screen. Window. There, you can kind of see where I was starting with it. That's a pretty early one there. That's the 46 nose there. Still had the 200 Ford 6 in it. There you see a little better. I was cutting out a piece of the cereal box here so I can make a filler plate in here for the hood, so I can fit the front parrot beak of the 46 onto the 48 hood. I think I got pictures of that hood. There's the filler piece I cut. There's the 48 hood. But this section right here, I ended up doing a little different. I put the beak part. Now there's the grill. There you go. Yeah, it's a cruddy picture. But these pieces up here, they're just a conduit. And I welded them in down here on the side vents of the 48 Ford hood. And then I run a sequencer, my turn signal sequencer in them, and stuck lights in them. So when I turn my turn signals on, those would light up in sequence, kind of like a Mercury tail lights, some Ford turn signal lights. So it looked like it was firing all the way down. Just screwing around. And you can kind of see that this is the tape line where I laid out for my grinder marks. And that's how I made sure that my grind with the cutoff wheel was straight on there. And then I took hole puncher, like for tablet paper and what got you. And I punched holes in the masking tape across like that. And I airbrushed, was in the process of airbrushing those all in. Then I stuck more conduit like that out the front here. It's because this was supposed to be like the bomber turret, that nose piece there. The bombardier turret with the guns sticking out of it. And that's what these were right here. I stuck 2 more pieces of this out the front here where the old hood latch used to be. Anyway, that was what there you can see how I was mocking them in. There you can see I can get them started. Anyway, crazy stuff you do. Rat rods. Excuse me. But got it to that point. Like I said, a guy, he just offered me too dang much money for that truck. So I ended up selling it before I even got to drive it. Had a little C4 automatic transmission in it. And I used a timing chain. A 460 timing chain, the bottom pole, or no, the top pulley on the timing chain. I found an actual metal one, all metal one, no plastic, and I cut it in half. Then I took that timing chain gear and stood it up, and then an emergency brake for my 53 Chevy 2-ton. and that was my shifter. And I used the timing chain cogs for my detents, so I could put it in park and it would stay in park and drive and all of that. Mounted that up on the console. That was my shifter that I made for it. Had a bed off of a Studebaker pickup. One of these days I'll find all the rest of the pictures from all those crazy builds me and my dad tried doing. But that one's all long gone. And that's the money that I used to buy my 58s with. In fact, as soon as he handed me the money, I called up our good friend Daryl and said, "Hey, what do you got in a two-door?" He said, "Well, I got a 58 Ford." And I said, "Bring it home." Actually, it was that. I sold that guy that and my 69 Opel GT that I got from Landon. And that's the money I used to start the 58 projects with. That's hard. I'm not very artistic. No, that's extreme boredom in a shop during these long Idaho winters. I'm doing yard work, all hopped up on Alios Pizza and Keystone. Woo, doggy. If I find any more of that. Where's them other pictures? Now we're just kind of dragging through here. I'll get that set up sometime or another. There we go. Whew. Mr. Tim Windsor, what's going on, man? Great to see you. Sorry about that. I was looking around to see if I could find any more pictures of that, the whole truck. It's all sitting on an S10 chassis that I Z-framed, cut the frame, dropped the belly down to lower the truck body down, make it look like it was lower than what it actually was. It was a pretty fun build. I called it 46 and 2 after that Tool song, because it had a 46 nose and it was a 46 and 2 was 48, which is actually what it was. It was a 48 Ford pickup that I drug out of an orchard, an apple orchard. And that thing had about 500 coats of house paint painted on it. And the last color happened to be yellow. Very, very good old friend of ours. They used to use the pickup all through the 60s and 50s. He was a roofer. And oh, Lord, that thing was so full of cedar shake shingles. That I dug them shingles out of every nook and cranny of that little cab. The windows wouldn't roll down anymore because the doors were full of cedar shake shingles. Had a little flatbed on it. That's what they used it for, hauling shingles around, roofing houses, barns, everything. That was an F3. I still got the chassis for it, the original 48 chassis for it. I'll use that front end in something. It's got the old banjo style rear end. Nathan's Mopar. Good to see you, man. Well, with that, we'll probably go ahead and shut her down for the week. Like I said, next Sunday, I got my little ticket taker going right here. We're going to be doing another creators workshop to help try to help all you guys with your channels and how to get a little boost on your subs, your views, all of that stuff. It'll be on John Wilburn's channel. Like I said, it's right there, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on over and check us out. I'm going to be on it with Buck Does It. Old Buck. He is a great guy. But like I said, on that, we'll try to tell you and give you all the tips and hints on how we got our channels going, how we got our 500 subs to go to the No Name Nationals, and beyond that. For all of you guys out there that are pushing for that, go for it, man. I mean, this YouTube stuff is actually a lot of fun, and don't just stop at the 500. Keep it going to all the way to the 1,000. I know it sounds kind of odd, but I want to see each and every one of you getting paid for your work. It's just a dream come true to be able to sit in your own shop at your own leisure, working on your own stuff and getting paid for it. Even if it is just a nickel here and there, it's a nickel that you didn't have yesterday. So I hope to see you all over to John's place on the 21st. And then after that, we'll go ahead and fire my live up. And any questions or anything that I didn't get addressed during that, we'll go ahead and answer them again over on mine, or just hang out, do whatever. So everybody in the chat, thanks a million for stopping in. Everybody that caught my premiere just before this, thanks a million. I owe so much to all of you guys, and I'm extremely thankful to each and every one of you. And we'll see you all next week. Until then, get out there and get some metal hot, and we'll get these old girls on the road sometime or another. Yeah, one of these days. Thanks a million. We'll catch you on the next one. Meantime, I'm gonna go get some more NyQuil because that dang wife gave me her cold. We'll see you next week.